Welcome to ParaDoxWalk podcast, specializing in paranormal activity, cryptids, UFOs, strange happenings with dimensional shifts, anything completely out of the ordinary. Today, we have a story of a man that claims he saw another man go up to a vending machine, push the button to get a soda out, and the man disappeared. Someone that may have encountered their friend time traveling from the future to give them medicine to save a life of another friend. Another story is somebody that was swimming in a lagoon in Africa and saw a mermaid, but it was a male mermaid. What would you call that? Not a maid? So, the first thing I'm going to share today is the strangest audio clip I might have ever heard. So some of the most important work has been the David Paulides Missing 411 documentaries. It's the Can-Am Missing Project. David Paulides was a police detective, and he ended up looking into the amount of disappearances in national parks was really, really high. I would highly recommend watching his documentaries. The thing I was bringing up today was audio. I started thinking, what is some of the weirdest audio I've ever heard? And it's on one of his documentaries. In the 70s, these sounds were recorded by Ron Moorhead and Al Berry. They ended up getting the audio to David Paulides. So, background, they were in the woods and they had a recorder because they kept saying, whenever they went to this camping spot, they started calling it samurai speak or samurai chatter. And it sounds like an Asian language when you hear it. And what I did is the first half of it, I boosted the sounds coming from the thing that doesn't sound human. It doesn't mess up what you hear. So I thought it was stunning. It sounds like something you've never heard before. It doesn't even sound like it'd be like a person. I found this fascinating. So, and remember, this is the 70s, so I'm sorry the quality isn't that great, but it still serves its purpose. Check this out.
There's two of them across the creek at the big rocks. That's our job. Right there, just see movement right through there.
They were kind of hollering back, similar types of yells and things like that, trying to mimic them. I cut those out. It just sounds like someone like us, hooping and hollering and trying to imitate it. So I just to hear, whatever these creatures are in the woods doing that, really bizarre. This is a glitch, and it happened to this person on 2015, October 23rd. So I'm going to start reading it. Quote, I have the exact date because I sent an email about the story to my friend that day and kept it. Since then, you'll understand why later. So this is the story. I was playing some game on my computer and suddenly I saw through the living room's window a blast of light coming from my balcony. At first I thought the transformer outside broke or something, so I got up to see what happened, but by the time I made it to the door, someone rang. I opened it, and on the other side, one of my good friends from Canada was standing there. Her hair was all messed up. She had bruises all over her face, and she was wearing a pretty damaged leather jacket. She seemed panicked and gave me an envelope and told me in a hurry that I must read and follow the instructions. I didn't have time to articulate a single word, and she already was running down the stairs. I tried to follow her, and she got out of my sight when she reached the part under the balcony. When I hit the last stair and turned around, she was already gone. I tried to search for her in a few places that she could hide into, but she was nowhere to be found. I figured she must have climbed the backyard fence. I decided to call her cell phone in case I could hear her ringtone. I heard nothing around, but she did pick up. I told her about what just happened. She thought I was completely crazy. I insist that the joke wasn't nice. I requested a video chat as proof of where she was, which she did. And to my surprise, she was at her current home in Canada, thousands of miles away from me. No bruises, and her hair was well done. In no way could she have arranged that in a mere 2 minutes that passed while I was searching for her. I was like, okay, that must have been some very weird doppelganger coincidence, and we hung up. I went back into my apartment to see what was inside the envelope. I found a paper on which were taped a USB key and 8 pills wrapped in a plastic film. There was also a note saying, "Hi, it would be too long to explain. Can you send me that through the mail? There's 8 doses that need to be taken at fixed times. Thanks." There was also 3 strange drawings at the bottom of the sheet. That was extremely weird because I could recognize my friend's handwriting. I decided to plug the USB into my computer. The only content was a notepad file saying, "Look at the date, dude," which I did and noticed that the date of creation was 23rd October 2025, which corresponded to exactly 10 years in the future from that day. I called my friend back. Now she was the one not liking the joke. I took a picture of everything and sent it via email. She recognized immediately her handwriting, and she also said that the drawing at the bottom was something she used to draw with her best friend. It was an inside between the two of them from elementary school that no one else knew about. As requested by the instructions, I sent the package to her in Canada. Later, it happened that her best friend became ill. She had something no one was able to identify or cure. They said it was probably only due to stress and things like that, but she was getting worse and worse. Her best friend was told about this weird story since the beginning, and in despair, she asked to try the pills in case it was sent for her. Either it worked or it was a coincidence, but she took the mystery pills and gradually got better in the following weeks. I don't know if in 2025 we will finally have the missing parts of the story, but it creeps me out every time I think about it. Now, this person does attach the pictures of the USB and the IDs of the USBs, because USB sticks have like a unique identifier on each one that's like the super long number, and they match. Then they took pictures of like everything and posted it on Imager. I looked at it, and the thing about the USBs is kind of interesting because it does look like it was one that this person already had. So now they have 2 of them, right? And it has this little, like a couple little tiny scratches, like if you drop something, it makes a little scratch. And those scratches are like identical on both of them. And then there's like little extra ones on the older one because it's like, 10 years older. So if it's a hoax, it's pretty dang detailed. Like, who would think of that? If it was a hoax, wouldn't they just be like, "Oh yeah, I lost it," or they would say something stupid. But this person like did everything everybody asked. Like, can we see the email? Can we see the IDs of the USB sticks? Take pictures of the USB sticks and all this stuff. And this person does all of it. And then answers like some of the questions. How did you know what way to take the pills? And they said that the friend just took them at the same time every single day or something like that. And it worked. So one of the other things was I always thought mermaids were kind of interesting. The stories always intrigued me. This guy was in Africa, and because no matter what you type into YouTube, Joe Rogan comes up. So I, for the heck of it, one had mermaid in the title, and I clicked on it. So I'm just going to read what this guy says. "I saw a mermaid. Yeah, really. It was in Africa." And then the guy says, "You saw an actual mermaid?" "Yeah, that's what it was. It was a swimming person." He says, so he was he was a kid, and then this other kid in this little lagoon, and they show a map, and it's kind of like right by Madagascar. But anyway, me and this little French boy, they told us, "Don't go swim in the lagoon after dark." Man, that's hard to say. Don't swim in the lagoon after dark. And everybody's up at the bar, and they're going up and down. And so me and him, we go down into the water, and then from a distance, you see something coming like a effing missile. And it's going fast, and we both kind of stop, and then it turns and it jumps out of the water, and it's maybe like 10 or 12 feet long, man. And it does this, and it, like, he kind of describes it kind of turning, and it looked at both of us, I guess in the air. And the water was only like this deep, and he like makes his hands like a little bit deep, like a foot or two. And this thing didn't make a splash or nothing. And then me and him, we turn around running, and everybody's coming down laughing with their drinks, and and all this stuff. And then I guess the little boy tells his mom.